all of that stuff is always guided by the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable and reflects the value of that one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Ian Chamandy joining us from Toronto. And over the last 20 years, Ian has helped more than 400 organizations define their purpose and become consistently uniquely remarkable through his proprietary blueprint process. So blueprinting defines an organization purpose in 7 words or less and uses to design how it will operate and communicate. So, Ian, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend organizations and entrepreneurs in order to sell the first million?
Okay, so what I'm going to do, because usually the first step, right? Well, the first step is to have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next step is to write a business plan around that idea. So you've got your roadmap for how you're going to make the business successful. Then your third step may be, to raise money, or maybe you're self-funding or whatever, and then there are steps after that. That is the traditional process that entrepreneurs go through when starting a business and trying to make their first million. And the problem with that is they have completely stepped right over the very first thing that they should do. And the very first thing you should do as an entrepreneur is understand the one thing that makes your organization uniquely remarkable. There is something at your core, at your root, that makes you uniquely remarkable. And if you don't believe that that's true, think about a company like IBM, right? After the Second World War in the 40s and 50s, what was IBM doing? It was selling the most sophisticated business technology to the biggest companies in the world. 80 years later, what's IBM doing? It is still selling the most sophisticated business technology to the biggest companies in the world. Now, IBM has had generations and generations of senior leadership teams. They've had many, many CEOs, all of whom had their own idea how to make this company thrive. But they all kept it inside of certain parameters. Now, they didn't do that on purpose. Sorry, I just realized we have a distraction here. They didn't do that on purpose. The company just somehow did it for them. It's embedded in the culture, right? So there is something that makes IBM uniquely remarkable that has been keeping it on the same successful path for 80 years. And every organization has something that makes it uniquely remarkable, but almost none of them know what that is. You can have fun and say, ask any business person, what is that one thing that makes your organization uniquely remarkable? And they'll stop talking they'll start talking, and they won't stop until they're as confused as you are by what they're saying, because they just don't know. And the thing is, like, for me, I just can't understand as a business how you can't know, how you can purport to operate and not know what it is that makes you uniquely remarkable.
How's your purpose? What is your purpose? Yeah. So
well,
I think
okay. So here's let me make the connection there, because I've had this business for 20 years. We've been doing this methodology for 20 years. And it starts with, like I said, identifying the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. And our standard is that it has to be articulated in 7 words or less. So it's a nice, short, clear, concise, and compelling statement. Then about, I would say 6 or 7 years ago, I discovered this quote by the artist Pablo Picasso. And his famous quote is, "The meaning of life is to find your purpose. And, the meaning of life is to find your gift. And your purpose is to share it with the world." And I looked at that and I said, well, wait a sec. I'm telling people that they need to define that one thing that makes them uniquely remarkable. And sorry. I'm trying to turn that off.
It's fine. Don't worry, it won't be more distracted than my one.
I'm so sorry about that. So I realized he said, find your gift. I say, find that one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. That's your gift. So I just rephrased what Picasso said to say, your purpose as an organization is to discover that one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable, your gift, and share it with the world.
Wow.
And so that's how my process became about purpose, because your purpose is that 7 words or less statement that defines what makes you uniquely remarkable. So in my process, then I'll stop in a sec. But once you know that one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable, you can use that to design how you operate and design how you communicate, so that those 2 things in the organization, everything you do and everything you say, all of that stuff is always guided by the one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable and reflects the value of that one thing that makes you uniquely remarkable. And that's a whole process that every business skips over.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.